Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, to part 2 of our series on drop 2 voicings. Even for a while after starting out, when I'd encounter a minor 2-5 or minor 2-5-1 situation, it's like, well, what do I play on these chords? So I hope to give you some nice ideas and some cool voicings to play over these kinds of chords. Right, so we're going to start with the B-type voicing. So when you do a minor 7 flat 5, for this position, the 5th is on top, so all you need to do is flat it. It sounds like this. This is nice because you have the natural 9 in there and it's a little more colorful and modern sound. So when you play the dominant, you can still alter just like I showed you in the last video. You can flat the 13, flat the 9 or sharp the 9, natural 13 to flat 13. Any way you want to do that. And when you resolve, it's going to be a minor third on the bottom instead of the major third, of course. And you have some options here. You can use the natural 7 for that dark melodic minor sound. You have the normal flat 7, of course, for your standard minor 7 and 9 sound. And then your natural 6 for the minor 6 or minor 6-9 sound. So I'll first play it without roots and then with some roots so you can hear the full harmony. So the substitution you can do, which I like to use a lot, is instead of playing the 2 chord as a minor chord, you can turn it into a dominant. You can do this on any 2-5 you ever play. Instead of a minor 2, you can make it a dominant 2. So in this case, instead of D minor flat 5, we're going to turn it into a D7. So this makes it a D7 with the sharp 11 or flat 5. And personally, I like to add the sharp 9. You could do the flat 9 also. But this works well with voice leading, which I'll show you in a minute. So essentially, we're just moving the bottom voice and the second from the top up a half step each. So this way you get the third 7, sharp 9, flat 5. Sounds like this. So with the flat 9, it's not quite as effective. You could still use it. Okay, so for the A type, that's moving up here. Now we have the natural 9 on the top, and the 5 is the second voice from the top. So same thing, you just have to flat the 5. Now, you want to be careful with this one because it has that natural 9 on top of it. It really sticks out, especially if you're accompanying vocalists or you're comping for them or you're comping for any other soloist. Be careful using this because it can clash with what someone else is playing if they're playing on this chord. So just use it with caution. With solo piano, you have free reign. Use it whenever you want. So here's what it sounds like without roots, and then I'll add some roots. Now your 7s are on the bottom. You can play the top melodies in tenths, like Bill Evans would do this a lot. For example, like this. So another good voicing that you can resolve to, of course, you have the minor major sound, minor 7, minor 6, Another nice one that's more modern that I really like is a minor 13, but it has the flat 7 on the bottom. Sounds like this. Okay, so for the substitution, it's going to be a D dominant again. This time it's going to be a D13 with a natural 13 and the flat 9 on the top. You can still go to the G7 alt however you want to do that. You can resolve for any of those 4 choices for the minor 1. It sounds like this. What's nice about these is you have the voice leading coming down a half step, this sharp 9 to natural 13, and this dominant 13 coming down to a sharp 9. Okay, so the last one is a nice two-handed comping voicing. The left hand's going to play that D13, and on the dominant, it just shifts down a half step. So you'll have G7 with a sharp 9. In the right hand, we're going to add 2 or 3 notes. We're going to start with 2, but you can do 3. So this is another substitution where we're substituting the D7 instead of a D minor flat 5. So it's going to be a D13 with a natural 9 and a flat 5 or sharp 11. And when you go down to the G7, you can flat the 13, you can keep the flat 9 or sharp it. So it sounds like this. That's with the flat 9, here's with the sharp 9. Now, when you resolve, you can go to that so what voicing, and there's a couple other options I'll show you. You can also use the upper structure triads on the G7. For this key, for G, it's the E flat and D flat major triads. I like to play with those, or you can walk them down through their inversions. You can resolve to C minor 11, C minor 13, whatever you like, using left hand voicings, combined with triads or fourths in the right hand, stacked fourths. So here's a couple examples. Now these are definitely a little more advanced than the last ones I showed you in the previous video, so take your time with them. I still recommend you learn them in all 12 keys. That takes time, but I can't stress the importance of that enough. At least the common keys that you'll encounter, like 2-5-1s to F minor, G minor, D minor, C minor, all the common keys you'll see for sure. If you found this useful, please subscribe to the channel. Check out the description below for a free guide on where to start. If you're new to jazz piano or coming from a classical background, a free practice structuring guide and my modes cheat sheet all in the description below. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.